Now, I was trying my best to empathize with, the higher ups that are, creating and writing these decisions, but all that was kind of washed away when I had this thought of something else that just hit our desks in August. In that week in August, right before the kids started coming, we had all the teachers in the district had to attend to their librarians that got um, a workshop this past summer stating this new Senate bill that talks about reading materials anywhere in the school. There's a website that we all had to make an account on. The website, I'm gonna put it right here and try to get better at editing, so I'm gonna try to put it somewhere on the screen. But it's called the Texas State Library Archives and Commissions, and I had to make an account. And the purpose, the way they worded it, it's to efficiently document the titles in your classroom and library collectives. Basically, the librarian dumbed it down to all of us. She visibly heard all the teachers like groan and just look at each other. And she said that the reason they were going to that workshop was because they want to make sure that parents have access and full openness to any reading material that their child might be exposed to. So at first we were just like, okay, but that means that she went on to the next slide and said that every single reading material, meaning not a textbook, like not a state assigned textbook for the curriculum. So if you have like Animal Farm, if you have To Kill a Mockingbird, if you have that on your shelves, any teacher, you have to go to that website and you have to put on this search bar every single book, regardless if it's behind a closed shelf or not. If it's anywhere in there, it by law has to be on there. And we had a deadline by the end of August to uh, finalize that list and then paste the link on our syllabus so that parents could click on the link and look at every single book that their kid might be exposed to. And immediately the teachers were getting upset about this, but in my head I think she didn't allude to it, but I pretty confident I know why this is happening. And it probably has to do with something like this video that I saw that happened, I think a year or two ago. But it's not the first time it's happened. But a student, and it hits close to home. And I was so mad when I saw this. Like, nothing ticks me off than messing with our children. But this is just, what the hell, man. This student, I'll let you watch the video, but he got a library book, 11 years old, walked into the library school fair, picked up this book called, I think it was called Queer Theory or Gender Queer. And you can probably guess what the book entails. It entails, I thought it was going to be okay, like to each their own type of literature and exposed to their own ideals. That's not my business. But my God, when this child, 11 years old, like that's could easily have been one of my students, started reading some of the stuff that was on that book to the house, or sorry, to the school board in front with the podium and a mic, I'd be just as mad as that dad. Like, I would be up there if that was Mia and she got exposed to a book like that with just smut words spewed throughout all of it. That has no business there. So then I started like after watching a couple comedians, I heard that some started out with writing a little joke book, so I couldn't help but write a little something just to because it's so ridiculous the tragic state of the reality, but I can't help but I looked on that reading website because you know how Bibles have the little ISBN number at the bottom. I was just curious. I was like, you know what? I wonder if like if we can't have like Animal Farm, if we can't have Charlotte's Web. I know back in the day, Charlotte's Web, back in 2006, Charlotte's Web was deemed. There was a quote that she said it was deemed ridiculous or deemed Talking animals are blasphemous and unnatural in 2006. And I saw, oh yeah, here, that's in 2015, Looking for Alaska by John Green was challenged quite a bit by parents. Same thing with the Charlotte's Web by parents. And then fast forward to now with this queer theory book in 2023, I wonder if I was in front of a crowd, like, I wonder if someone, if you could, right now, if I wanted to, I could have this Bible in my bookshelf. But now all it takes is a parent walking in my classroom, looking at the Bible, and just point and say, I don't want that in my son's classroom. And legally, because of this Senate bill that the librarian was telling us, we legally have to remove that book from our classroom. And I'm wondering if we have to, with all this with all this nonsense going on. God bless them. So happy with the growth that I'm going to pass on to my children, but what is going on? So I say that I have to remove it because the reason we have to share that link about the books in our classrooms is because no matter if it's a reading teacher, me, if one parent sees that link and spends the time to scroll through all our books that we have to put in, they could point to any book on there. And if one parent out of 130 or so in middle school has a problem with it, even if it's somewhat school related or something to, make them want to get excited to read, we legally have to get it out of there, or we'll be breaking Senate code. So everybody, as soon as the librarian was telling us this, we, poor girl, she looked like a deer in the headlights with all the like clamoring and gnashing of teeth that was going on in that meeting. But the principal had to, like, hey, I'm glad y'all are ambitious about our students reading levels, but we got to come back to this. And don't tell anyone I told you this, but the districts I'm a part of, like, the admin couldn't care less. There's like much more pertinent information for us to be worrying about right now. So they care, but they there's more important stuff to worry about.